Greetings from Everquest Mangler server. This is my main, Dildo, aka Deal. He's a rogue. I two-box with my ranger over here. This is Annulus, Halfling Ranger. It's a non-traditional box, but it works for me. A very high DPS, burst DPS box. Anyway, the purpose of this video is to discuss rogue poisons, poison making. This is my very first video, and it's going to be covering poison making during the classic Kunark Velius eras, which would include Project 1999, as well as early time lock progression servers. So what I'd like to do with this video, I'd like to try to address the question that I've been asked a lot, which is, are rogue poisons really worth it? And I'm going to try to do my best to address this question. In the description below, I've provided links to the Project 1999 website, as well as EQ Progression and EQ Traders, as well as Almar's guides. These are the 4 sources that I use to help level up poison making, and together they provide a very comprehensive list of just not only rogue poisons, vendors, materials, but also skill up guides for poison making. So I'm just going to be giving my 2 cents here, and let's get started. Okay, leveling poison making starts off pretty simply. You just loot poison sacs from low-level spiders, snakes, wasps, scorpions, and save these in your bank. The first poisons you're going to be making will be applied poisons, and these are poisons that you apply to your knife. And hang on a second here. You apply these poisons to your knife in your main hand using your apply poison skill. It's best to practice apply poison with poisons that are inexpensive to produce. So what I'm covering in this video are just applied poisons, the types of poisons you'd be using during the classic Kunark Velius era. I'll cover DPS poisons and utility poisons in later videos. Now, applied poisons, bring up my inventory here. Applied poisons don't have a number in the lower right-hand corner. Hang on a second here. They don't have a number in this sort of lower right-hand corner or lower left-hand corner. So this right here is a DPS poison. See how that has a number? Applied poisons don't have that, and that's one way to differentiate. Okay, one of the things that we're collecting here in the Field of Bone is this heart sting venom sac. Okay, we get these from heart sting scorpions. We're located just north of Kesora, just southeast of Currents Tower, and we're just hunting heart sting scorpions looking for these venom sacs. We need 2 of these venom sacs, okay, and then we need a Lawrence suspension here, okay, Lawrence suspension. And then we need a sealed poison vial, which is here, okay? So we need 1 sealed poison vial, 1 Lawrence suspension, and 2 heart sting venom sacs. This makes a slow and a snare, probably one of the most effective rogue poisons that we have during this era. A slow and a snare together. Really, I mean, this is analogous to the Ranger 1.0 epic. And you can do a lot of good use. You can put that particular poison to a lot of good use. I'm going to just hunt a couple of these heart sting scorpions and see if we can get another one of these poisons to drop, poison sacs to drop. It is about a 20% drop off these guys, so it's definitely worth farming. One question I get asked a lot is, you know, is it worth it? Like I said. So, I mean, it's very difficult for rogues, especially soloist rogues. Here I'm boxed, but on a P99 server, you're basically a soloist. And so it's very, very difficult for rogues to find groups. You're probably going to be the last one to find a group. So, you know, while you're looking for a group, you can hunt these poison-making materials down, and which would include subcombines. We can go over those subcombines, but so yeah, I just use that downtime to get poison-making materials. So let's see if we can find one more. Yeah, no venom sacs. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of a pause and try and find another poison sac, and we'll come back. So, having some difficulty getting these hard sting scorpions to drop. So we went through one spawn cycle. We're just waiting for them to respawn. So I'm going to check out Cabalist vendors and see what I can see. Let's go into Ixar form here and see if maybe some noobs in the area have killed hardsting scorpions and might have vendored some of this stuff. I really doubt people are level 1s are here anymore. But we'll check out the vendors, see if maybe some was sold. And we just might have to clear out the yard a couple times to get it to drop. Nothing. We'll just look everywhere. And this kind of sucks. Let's get my bunny rabbit here. There you go. Ixar riding a bunny. What's not to love about that? Alright. You know, you'd think these Ixar would be a little dubious of an Ixar riding a bunny rabbit in the middle of Cabalist, but I guess they're none the wiser here. So anyways, let's keep looking around. I believe there's a vendor up here. I don't think the Field of Bone is really used anymore. But anyways, we're looking. Yeah, all these vendors have just their basic, like, purchase stuff. Okay, well, kind of a waste of time to go there and do that. Okay, well, at least I can talk through the basics. Let's get right next to my buddy here. Okay. Dismount. Okay, so let's pull up my mortar. Okay, this is the mortar and pestle. Okay, so probably looks a little different on P99 than it does on a time lock server. We have this recipe window where we can search recipes by trivial. You don't get this on P99. What you get is something more like this, where this is the experiment tab. And while I was hunting those heart stings, I also grabbed some spider venom sacs here. So I'm just going to make a spider venom, an applied poison, which is 2 spider venom sacs, a sealed vial. Oh no, a regular poison vial, not a sealed vial, and then regular suspension, just regular suspension. There you go. Combine that, and you get spider venom, which is that right there. Okay, and so the first thing, notice there's no number on the lower left-hand corner of the poison. So this is an applied poison, and it applies weakening for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So it's a strength debuff, all right? And the trivial for this poison is 16, so you need 16 skill to do it. I'll make another one here. Suspension, poison vial, and 2 spider venom sacs. Boom, there's another one. Okay, so you can see how, you know, if you have 10 or 20 of these, this can take up all your inventory pretty quickly. The way that we apply a poison to our knife, you have to have a knife in your main hand. Okay, you got to have a knife in your main hand, and the way you're actually applying it is you're applying it to your main slot. So you can't really apply the poison to your knife, then switch knives and apply a poison to another knife. It doesn't work that way. Really, you're applying it to a slot. Okay, and so what you do is you right-click the poison, and then you sit down. It says you begin applying the poison. Okay, then it says you successfully applied the poison. Okay, so now I have this poison on my knife for the entire duration that I'm in this zone. If I zone, then the poison is wiped off my knife, and you notice how the poison is off my inventory. So the main thing is, don't zone after you've applied the poison. Okay. The way that applied poisons work, it's kind of like an all or nothing proposition. Either they go off or they get mitigated. So let's go ahead and just kill this guy. Let's see here. There you go. And if you go under my dialogue here, it'll say, a scaled wolf has been poisoned by weakening poison 1. But, I mean, I did so much damage to him, he just died outright. So we didn't really get to see its effect on the scaled wolf pup. But yeah, the poison just either goes off or it doesn't go off at the beginning of the fight. Okay? A couple other things. You got to have a piercing weapon in your main hand in order to apply the poison. And it's important to note that, you know, if the mob you're fighting has poison resistance, they can resist it. It's just like anything else. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So there's a couple spider poisons. I'm still looking for these heart stings. There's one. Let's track them down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just got a heart sting here, and we're gonna loot the heart sting scorpion sack. Okay, let's close that. And all right, so let's go ahead and make the slow poison. So you take 2 heart sting scorpions, 1 Lawrence suspension, and 1 sealed poison vial. Combine. Alright, and you get stiffening ergot. So now Dildo has stiffening ergot. Alright, let's put that right there. Alright, paralyzing poison 3 paralyzes your target's muscles, slowing movement rate and attack speed. So stiffening ergot, which casts paralyzing poison 3, is a 95% snare and a 50% slow. Okay, so you can, you know, the 50% slow is powerful. That's a very powerful poison. That's why I stayed here so long in the middle of nowhere with no one in this zone. So to get 5 or 6 of these during the classic era, that's huge, especially for a rogue who's all by himself and doesn't have this nifty little ranger in his pocket that's tracking for him. So yeah, and I'll give you a couple really good examples of how I use this to my advantage, to the point where they really did make a difference. And I'll be right back. Okay, so here I am in the hole, and I just wanted to recreate part of my Ranger epic. There's my Ranger right there. Get the map away. There he is. And so he actually has his 2.0 equipped now, but back when he got his 1.0, we had to come down to the hole for a part of his epic. Okay, and so the example I'm going to use for how I use this stiffening ergot here, we actually had to go all the way down into the hole past the undead area, find this mob called Jaleel the Insane. Prior to engage, Deal had applied this stiffening ergot, and Annulus, my ranger, did his turn-in. Okay, and then Jaleel suddenly aggroed onto my ranger, and of course Deal, my rogue, is shrouded off to the side, can't be seen. And so what my ranger does is, my ranger then he gets aggro, weapon shields, uses flame lick, uses taunt, and establishes aggro. Then Deal swings around behind and starts backstabbing. Okay, and what that does is immediately it slows Annulus's epic mob by 50%, 95% snare, and so immediately he was basically hamstrung, and it gave my ranger a huge advantage in that fight. So I'm going to try and work my way down there and recreate that just for old time's sake. And anyways, we won that battle. It was great. A couple things to think about when you're down in the hole is drops of mercury. These can be crafted, but they're very expensive to craft. If you're a self-respecting rogue and you're in the hole, definitely get yourself drops of mercury. Try and collect as many of those as you can and keep them in your bank. And those are used for more advanced poisons. The way I do here is I have Deal shrouded, and Annulus is behind me. He's just regular invis. So if anything's going to aggro, it'll aggro onto Annulus first. Annulus will establish aggro, then Deal just turns around and starts DPSing. We're pretty safe here. I apologize. Some of these models are redone. The whole got a revamp. So for people on P99, I apologize. I don't like these models at all. So anyways, we're just going to take Deal, though, and Annulus deeper and deeper into the hole. Here he goes. Deal is going deeper and deeper, nice and slow. It's just conning these guys, seeing if they see invis. So far, so good. Right, so drops of mercury. Definitely want to get drops of mercury while you're here. And I'm just sorry, I'm pausing to get Annulus to catch up with me here. Follow. All right, you want drops of mercury. What else do you want? Sub-combines. I was going to mention that. So rogues on a brand new server, Time-Lock server or Project 1999, where you're just starting out the server, there's no money in circulation, okay? So there's 0 plat on your character. And so probably, I think this guy sees invis. Yeah, he sees invis. So look, we're just going to run him up, and then Annulus establishes aggro. Annulus establishes the fight. All right, and then Deal swings around, and boom, dead. All right, I love that. That gives me a good feeling in my heart. Okay. So, sub-combines. So, so when you're just starting out, poison vials are expensive. Constrict suspension is expensive. And so what you want to do is try to reduce that cost as much as you possibly can. And the way to do that is to take up pottery. Pottery is an ancillary trade skill for poison making. It allows you to make poison vials, allows you to make increasingly advanced poison vials. So you start with just regular, you go to sealed poison vials. Eventually you move up towards advanced poison vials. And let's kill this guy. And so by using pottery, you can save a lot of money in those early eras. So let's bear with me. I'm just going to keep attacking. Alright, now Annulus can probably do this himself. Alright. And just find Deal, follow, and just let's see what we got. Okay. Crystallized sulfur. Crystallized sulfur is important as an ingredient. That's one of the things you should start collecting as well. So drops of mercury, crystallized sulfur. Just keep working your way down. Okay, got aggro. So you want crystallized sulfur, you want drops of mercury. Okay, that's just a piece of random loot. And Annulus actually has a clicky invis versus undead. So by the time we get down to the undead area, we're going to use that. Now, after the revamp, it looks like undead took over this portion of the zone. So we're going to just have to kind of crawl. Deal is safe because he's shrouded. But Annulus is going to need his invis versus undead. So just very, very slowly, Deal, though, working deeper and deeper into the hole. Just deeper and deeper, very slow, meticulous, punctilious. Work your way down. And I'll be back. Okay, so we're working closer and closer to Jaleel the Wretched, recreating our Ranger Epic. I'm not sure he'll aggro. So anyways, um, again, I apologize for these gargoyles. They should actually look like gargoyles, not these things. See, we'll just wait right by him. See, he's aggroed onto Annulus. Annulus will go ahead and attack. And then Deal will go ahead and backstab, and he's immediately dead. So that's how I like to play this game. Follow. All right. Deal goes into Shroud. He should be shrouded. Oh, he's in attack mode here. Okay. So we're working closer and closer, getting deeper and deeper into the hole. Deal, though, is. And there is Jaleel the Wretched. There he is. Level 55. So we could probably one-shot him at this point. But anyways, I guess we could try to recreate him, the attack with this golem, maybe. Alright, so... Oh, God, you attack me now. Okay, too late. You get a chance to apply the poison. Well, this is kind of what we did. We had to clear this area first before Annulus did his turn in. So... Alrighty. So let's con him. I think he cons dubious. Yeah, he's dubious. Alright. So I think if I were to kill him now, I don't even know if I could kill him. Because I think my ranger has to do his turn in first, turn Jaleel the Wretched into Jaleel the Insane. Jaleel the Insane then attacks him. Deal applied this poison, right? Stiffening Ergot. He applied the Stiffening Ergot, which then procced, slowed him, and we were able to 2-box the Ranger Epic. So I'm going to try to maybe recreate that with maybe one of these mobs down here. So let's apply Stiffening Ergot. Okay, we successfully applied. All right. So what I can do is, actually, let's try it with Jaleel. Screw him. Hide corpse. Let's go over here and just get right next to him. There you go. Hopefully you can see this. Oh, you can't even see this. All right, there's Annulus. See him. Get rid of that. Get rid of all that. All right. So I'm going to hail him. All right, I'm going to taunt him. Oh, there you go. Now he's pissed. Oh, he's so angry. Okay, so let's go this way. And so he's not even touching Annulus at this point. But back when Annulus was in his 60s, he was a little tough. Okay, there you go. So now he's slowed. So let's go ahead and right-click this slow. Paralyzing Poison 3. So you see he's slowed. He's not really attacking me. I could just one-shot this guy now, but you see how he's slowed? And he's slowed for 1 minute and 25 seconds. That's huge. All right. And so now Annulus can taunt. Let's go ahead and use Immolate. Kind of weapon shield. Okay, there we go. I can weapon shield. I don't have to do that. So then what Deal then does is swing around and just start backstabbing him. And taunt. There you go. Well, one of those. Okay, he didn't drop anything good. I didn't even take any faction hits anyways. So anyways, that's how I did that fight, and that was against Jaleel the Insane. This is after your ranger does his turn in. So anyways, that was a situation in which an applied poison did make a difference. Okay, so it's situational. So that's one consideration is like A, where you're fighting, B, what you're fighting, C, what expansion you are, D, are you by yourself or you're with a box? If you're with a 5-box crew, then and you've got an enchanter and a shadow knight and a shaman and a bard, poisons are probably not going to enter your decision-making process. But if you're by yourself on P99 or you're boxed on just 2 boxed on a TLP early expansion, it probably should enter your decision-making. I'm going to gate back and show you another usage. Okay, so here we are in Plane of Knowledge back home. And I'm at the poison suppliers in Plane of Knowledge. You can visit poison suppliers during the classic Kunark era, Velius era. And to find them, I would go to the link in the description box and look under the Project 1999 Make Poison website. And that'll tell you pretty much where all the poison making vendors are, what time they spawn. They do despawn in the classic era, so you got to pay attention to when they spawn. Just wanted to go over a couple more poisons to make. I would say the number one applied poison to make during these eras is slow, but I would also say snare procs. Anything that will proc a snare will benefit a rogue, especially a soloist rogue. So here's the first. This is an L2 snare, and this is around a 30% snare. And so this requires a lined poison vial, constrict suspension, and 2 Horror's Banes. This will make lethargic bliss. Okay, Horror's Banes drop off of orcs in Solusec A. Then we have an L3 called Pacifying Whisper. So this requires Wolf's Bane. Wolf's Bane drops off of Split Paw Knolls. You'll find them around the Split Paw lair. In classic Kunark Velius, you'll find them in the Split Paw lair, but in these expansions, the current expansions, you'll find them just outside. All these others can be store-bought, which would include the sealed poison vial, the constrict suspension, this whatever you call it root, and the thorny ergot. Okay, so this is the L3. The L4 is right here. This is called Spirit of Sloth. All of this stuff is vendor purchasable. Okay, and this is how you get to max skill, 275. So you need Creeper Ivy, ethereal suspension, and sealed poison vials, and you can buy them right off this vendor right here. All the materials are sold off of this vendor, but you can see it start getting very expensive. But Creeper Ivy and then these 2 vials, Spirit of Sloth will get you to max skill, or very, very close to it. To get from 275 to 300, that's going to require another video, and I can walk you through that. So the situation in which players use a snare together with intimidation is fear kiting, which you don't really see a lot of fear kiting. You don't really see it a lot on a live server or project or TLPs, but you do see fear kiting on Project 1999. So I actually, in the current expansion that we are, Secrets of Fadewar, I did talk to a rogue, a good friend of mine, who used fear kiting using the Spirit of Sloth snare proc. And it was beautiful. What he was doing was, one of the first camps are these Minotaur caves that you have to go to start the progression through Secrets of Fadewar. And what he was doing was, he was using a rogue discipline called Fade Lure, which is a rogue AoE mez, which he followed up with Escape, which allowed him to memblur that AoE mez group. Then he would single pull a Minotaur out of there and lure it to a place where he could basically single pull a Minotaur out of there. Then he would fear kite that Minotaur. It was just ingenious. I never in a million years would have thought I could even do that. But he was still a true soloist, and he was still doing that. So so AoE Mez followed by a Memblur, and then single pull, and then fear kite. So that's how he did it. Just blew my mind. Anyway, so you can still fear kite. Let me just go over my notes here. Just go over some finishing touches. So to make poison vials, you need zombie skins, and zombie skins can be looted in Unrest, the Estate of Unrest, which is on Fadewar. and or any zombie or mummy. The North Row camp is good for that. The North Row Undead camp is good for zombie skins. So zombie skins can be used to make the poison vials and sealed poison vials. So while you're in Unrest, you also want to get your hands on grave mold, which can be used to make solvent gangrene. And I'll pull that up here. So solvent gangrene, it trivials at 40. So that's one sort of cheap way to get your poison skill up quickly. There's solvent gangrene, so you need 2 grave mold and a suspension and a poison vial. Very inexpensive to produce. You get your skill up that way. What else? I don't really know what else to discuss. If there's any questions you have, just ask me. But this should pretty much cover applied poisons and the early poison making. Is it worth it? Is it not? I think it is, and I think it's a part of the class that I really enjoy playing. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye!